All right. The program that I was using to record videos earlier seems to not be working very well. It's like sticking towards the end of the video, which is really annoying. So I'm going to just try to record videos from Zoom, I guess, and we'll see how well this works. Anyway, I wanted to show you why fractions and division are really two sides of the same coin. So, so let's say that we're talking about the fraction 3/5. Now, we've talked about how 3/5 is like taking a unit, splitting it into 5 parts, and then taking 3 of those parts, right? So that's one way to think about the number 3/5. Another way to think about 3/5 is to say that it's 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5. In other words, it's the same thing as 3 times 1/5, right? So this is another way to think about what 3/5 is. But I'm going to give you another way to think about 3/5, and that is that 3/5 is the same thing as 3 divided by 5. So if you take 3 units and split those 3 units into 5 equal parts, the place that you land on is 3/5. To show you this, I'm actually going to give you a couple of slightly easier examples first. So let's start with, let's show that 4/2 is the same as 4 divided by 2. So on the left-hand side, 4/2 would mean 4 halves, right? So it would mean we're going to split each of our units into 2 parts, and then we're going to take 4 of them, right? If you do that, you're going to land on the number 2, right, which is 4 divided by 2. But let's show it. Let's show it using a number line and some fraction rulers. So in the first place, I'm going to give myself this number line. Now, in order to make everything precise, if I want to get 4 on there, so to show you 4 divided by 2, what I need to do is I need to take 4 units and split them into 2 equal parts. So in order to make sure that this is happening very precisely, I need to split this up into 4 equal parts. So I'm going to take the fraction ruler I was using earlier and erase the marks that I made on it. So so here's what I'm going to do. Let's mark this 0, and then let's mark this 4. And I'm going to split this into 4 parts. So I need to mark that. Let me try to make it precise if I can. Okay, so there's 4. I need to split it into 4 equal parts. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that. Okay, and then I can mark the intersections. 1, 2, 3, and then there would be 4, right? Right? So then I've split that into 4 equal parts. So I can label these 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now, so I've got my 4 units on there. They're split perfectly evenly across, right? Now I want to divide that length into 2. So I want to divide this length into 2 parts now. Okay, so you're going to take the same ruler, right? I've got the entire, I want to split the entire length from 0 to 4 into 2 equal parts. So I mark this edge, right? Mark that edge, and then I use my fraction ruler again to go down 1, 2 spaces. And then this intersection is exactly the halfway mark. So let's see. Let's see if it lands where it's, yeah, it lands right where it's supposed to, right? It lands right there at 2, just like we expected. Okay, so that's 4 divided by 2, right? This is 4 divided by 2 right there. Now, to show that that's the same thing as 4 halves, we should split each unit into halves and then take 4 of them, right? That's what 4 halves means. It means split each unit into 2 parts and then take 4. Then take 4 of them. So let me mark 1 unit on my fraction ruler. There's 1 unit right there. And now I'm going to take this over to my lined paper so I can split it in half. 1, 2. So there's half of a unit right there. And now I can mark where 1/2 falls. So 1/2 falls there. 1/2 falls there. And I need to take 4 halves, right? So I've got 1/2, 2 halves, 3 halves, and then 4 halves. And sure enough, right, it lands on the same number. So 4 divided by 2 is the same as 4 halves, which is the same thing as 2, right? None of this is particularly like earth-shattering information, right? This is all stuff that we would have expected to happen. But anyway, let's do another one. Let's show that 6 divided by 3 equals 2. Or sorry, that's not what I want to show. I mean, that is a true statement, but I want to show that 6 divided by 3 equals 6/3. Right, so I want to show that 6 divided by 3 equals 6/3. So I'm going to do this the same way. So first of all, to show 6 divided by 3, I need to have 6 units. So I'm going to give myself a number line. And let's say that 0 is here and 6 is there. Okay, I need to divide this into 6 equal parts. I'm going to mark and then go down 6 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I should end up with something like that. Okay, I can transfer that back over here. You know what, these units aren't going to be big enough for me to divide them into thirds. Well, I'll make do. I should have made the units bigger though. Okay, so I've got 6 units now. I want to split those 6 units into 3 equal parts. Or rather, I want to split this distance from 0 to 6 into 3 parts. That's what this is saying to do. Divide the length from 0 to 6 into 3 equal parts. So let me divide it into 3 equal parts now. 1, 2, 3. So then I get this scenario. Okay, so I get a division there, and then I get a division there, right? that splits the space between 0 and 6 into 3 equal parts, right? 1, 2, 3. What's the length of each of those divisions? Well, this has length 2, this has length 2, this has length 2, so 6 divided by 3 should be 2, right? Now, what's 6/3? Here I'm going to have to cheat a little bit because these units aren't big enough. Like if I try to split this into 3 parts using my lines, I don't think, let me see, I don't think that that's a big enough space to equally split it. Oh, maybe I can. I can. All right, I can still do this. So let's do thirds. There's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I can still get it into 3 equal parts. Okay, I'm going to transfer those back over here. So I've got 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, right? And sure enough, right? 6 divided by 3 is the same thing as 6/3. So anyway, so enough with those whole numbers where you get whole number answers. I want to show you some fractions. So let's do 3/5 now. That's what kind of started this conversation. So let's show that 3 divided by 5 is the same thing as 3/5. So let's show that 3 divided by 5 is the same thing as 3/5. Here we go. So I'm going to give myself a number line. And let's say that this is 0 and that this is 3. Then I'm going to mark that length onto my fraction ruler. Okay. And split it into 3 equal parts so that I'm sure that my units are exactly placed where they need to go. 1, 2, 3. There's 1, there's 2. Okay, now I need to split this distance into 5 parts, right? So I need to split this distance into 5 parts. So I'm going to take my fraction ruler, erase these 2 smaller marks. And now let's split this distance. Split this distance here into 5 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right. So we split this into 5 equal parts, and we get a division here. We get a division here, here, and here. So you see that how that splits our number line into 5. We've got 5 equal divisions now, right? So 5 equal parts. Now the question is, how much space is that? Like, what is this distance from 0 to this mark? What is that distance? Well, my claim is that that distance is 3/5. To prove that, we need to split the space between 0 and 1 into 5 parts, and then make sure that this lands on the third of those 5 marks, right? So let's do it. So I'm going to mark my unit on my fraction ruler. So there's 1 unit. And then I want to divide that unit into five parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right. So now let's take it back here. We've got 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. Sorry. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, or sorry, thirds. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and 5/5. Okay. All right. So sure enough, 3 divided by 5 is the same thing as 3/5. Right? 4/5, 5/5. Okay. So there you go. 3 divided by 5 is the same thing as 3/5. Let me give you one more for good measure. Make sure you understand what's going on. And then you'll have some homework problems where you get to practice this as well. So let's show that 2 divided by 7 is the same thing as 2/7. Okay. Okay. So I need to split this in half so that I know exactly where 1 is supposed to go. I'm going to go down 2 spaces. Okay. So 1 goes right there. There's 1. Now I need to split this distance into 7 parts. That's what 2 divided by 7 means, right? So I'm going to split 2 into 7 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I can put that on here now. So there's 1 division, another one, another one, another one, and so forth. So this splits the space between 0 and 2 into 7 equal parts. And the question is, what is this distance from 0? What is the distance from 0 to that mark? Right? What is the distance? What is this number right here? Well, my claim is that that number is 2/7. And to verify that claim, I need to split the distance between 0 and 1 into 7 equal parts and take the second one, right? So I'm going to mark my unit. I'm going to split that unit 7 ways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that should be something like that. And then we can split this 7 ways. So we have 1/7, 2/7, 3/7, 4/7, 5/7, 6/7, 7/7. okay? I guess I should have written it down here, but there you go. That shows that 2 divided by 7 is the same thing as 2/7. Okay. So that's one way to show the relationship between division and fractions, right? Fractions are really just the same thing as divisions. So that's all I have to say about that.